Success isn't for the chosen few, it's for those who choose to show up, take action, and never back down. This is the Empower Entrepreneur, hosted by Rohit Soni, airing across 185 countries, 26 plus TV networks, and 100 plus podcast stations. You've heard the strategies, you've seen the mindset. Now it's time to execute. I'll see you next week, every Thursday at 5 p.m. Pacific and 8 p.m. Eastern. Go, build, dominate. Until next time, stay empowered. So, hello everyone, welcome back to the Empower Entrepreneur Show. This is your host, Rohit Soni, and today I'm with a very special guest. Before I introduce you to the guest, I just want to talk to you a bit about resilience. Do you know what resilience is? How it can impact you in more ways than one. Listen, if anyone is struggling right now in any sphere of life, one of the key things that we have to understand is it's not what the problem is about, it's how we respond to it. And that's what resilience is all about, right? To overcome, to become, to make sure that you're climbing those ladders, to make sure you're getting to the place where you want to. In saying that, I want to go deeper into this topic because a lot of people today are struggling with a lot of things, but they're not ready to talk to about, and they're not being confronted about it. So it's always good to have someone who can help people in those spheres. In saying that, before I get my guest on the stage, I want to introduce them to you. Today on the Empower Entrepreneur, we are joined by Jesse Tubb, a resilience expert, leadership coach, and adventure-based team building specialist who helps individuals and organizations perform at a higher level under pressure. Jess brings a unique background to his work, including 28 years plus of experience in the US Army, including 20 years competing internationally in endurance and adventure racing, including winning the US Adventure Racing National Championships and competing on Amazon IAM's Eco Challenge Physique. Through customized experiential keynotes, workshops, and real world-class team challenges, Jess helps organizations build resilience, improve communication under stress, strengthen trust, and create healthier high-performance cultures. He's also a certified resilience and mental fitness coach, meditation instructor, and lead curriculum designer for Complete Focus, where he develops programs for elite athletes and executives. Today, we are going to talk to him about one of the most important skills entrepreneurs and leaders need to right now, that is grit, and why grit is very different from grind. So I'll get Jess on the stage. Hi, Jess, brother. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Awesome. So listen, brother, this is all about helping our audience in a way that they have not been till now, and also sharing things that they are either having in their heart, but they're not responding to, or they're going through some struggles that they're not telling about. So before we go deeper into this episode, if you could just share a little bit about your journey, how you started everything, that would be awesome.
Yeah. So my endurance background, like you said, I've spent 20 years competing as a competitive endurance athlete all over the world. In those experiences, I've learned more about myself, and I've always returned from those experiences a better husband, a better father, a better human. And that inspired me to start my company called Grit Adventures. And it was my experience as a musician in the Army and also as an endurance athlete that really informed my company and how I approach teaching others to do the same.
Got it. And just you say that grit and grind are completely different. So what's the main difference according to you?
They look the same on the outside. They both get the same results. And the metaphor I use is a pencil. So grind is like a wooden pencil that you're able to write, you're able to draw, to do whatever you want to. It's usable, but over time it shrinks. Its capacity shrinks over time. But for grit, it's like a mechanical pencil. It has the same result. You can write, you can do everything you want to, but it's replenishable. You can put more lead into it, and the shape stays the same. So grind is about gritting your teeth, about pushing harder, about trying to do more unsustainably. But true grit, when you're able to lean into your values, your purpose, and your passion, that's more sustainable. And that's what I really try to empower other people to learn.
And according to you, because I completely agree with your statement, why do so many entrepreneurs currently confuse burnout with commitment?
in our culture, especially, well, in entrepreneur culture, there's this idea of hustle culture that if you are pushing harder, if you are burning the candle on both ends, if you're working long hours and sacrificing, that is a measure of success, that is a virtue signaling, a signaling to other people that you are being successful. And I will counter that that's maybe short-term successful, but not sustainable. And a lot of entrepreneurs tie their identity in with their mission statement. And I'll speak for myself. When I started my outdoor company, I would tell people that this is the physical manifestation of everything that I hold most dear, that it's my passion, my purpose, and my values made manifest. And when entrepreneurs tie their identity and their self-worth into their company, that is a recipe for creating boundaryless experiences. So then the family, you end up tending to go away from spending time with family or creating healthy boundaries, and that can create obviously a lot of issues. And a lot of times in this culture, this entrepreneur culture, we think of brute force as being the power that will get us through, that we can just somehow just put more energy into something or push harder, and that is going to be the missing recipe that will push us through to find success. And there's a fine line between obsession and vision. And I know, again, I'll speak for myself, that when I started this company, I was obsessed with creating curriculum, learning, and figuring out how to display or to empower other people in the most effective ways possible. But what I was doing initially was I didn't have any time constraints. So I would be working all hours, whenever my phone would ring, I would always answer it regardless of what I was doing. And so I didn't have healthy boundaries about when my work life ended and my personal life started. And so, yeah, I'm just really clear about making sure that there's a clarity between obsession and vision.
Absolutely, I agree with you on that part. And listen, brother, I also think that it's all about understanding where you are in your life and what can you do best from there versus worrying about other things that doesn't help, right? And resilience and grit is all about making sure you know what to do and how to overcome to become, right? That's what I usually say too. And you were in the army, right? And people are like warriors there. So like how do like true grit help people navigate pressure more sustainably? Because there might be chances that people will feel uncomfortable doing a lot of things sometimes, right? Or they might be put in a place that where they think, okay, can I do it? Can I not? So what's your take on that?
Yeah, so I define grit, or the way I talk about it, is this idea of being able to stay with the sense or the feeling of discomfort, of wanting things to be different. Typically, we have to rely on grit in those moments where we just are meeting a moment or a situation that feels uncomfortable and we want it to change. And that could look like a workout. That can look like a tough conversation with your business partner or your spouse. Grit shows up in many areas of your life. But it's not only the physical discomfort or maybe the psychological discomfort of what's happening, but it's the lack of acceptance for the fact that you're experiencing whatever struggle you're going through. And the first step in being able to really lean into this true grit idea is accepting the fact that you're in the situation. And I call it a valley of suck, right? Every journey is going to have valleys and high points. And it's our experience or the way we approach those valleys that inform the quality of our journey. Because when we resist the fact that we're struggling or something is challenging, then we're adding suffering onto the challenge that's already happening. Being able to accept that this is happening, that there is a positive way forward when we lean into our values and our purpose and our passion, that will allow us to rise out of those valleys and grow up and sustain that climb out to the peak. And I describe those two situations as grit is in the valley, right? The valley of suck, and resilience is that climb out. It's the ability to sustain that climb as we're getting out of that low point.
Absolutely. And like I also think that whenever you're trying to like overcome anything, right? And whenever you feel like can I do this and can I not, it's that there's always a voice that tells you the truth, that you know what, you can make this happen, But if that voice is negative, we got to work on it. We got to make sure we are in the right circle. And obviously, we want to talk about circle and how coaching helps you do the same. But it's very important to also associate with the right people to make sure you're getting where you want to, right? In saying that, Jess, we have to run into a quick break right now. But when we come back, we'll discuss with Jess the lessons he learned from racing and real life pressure, plus on top of that, competition pressure that comes along with resilience and grit. So I'll see everyone after this quick break.
As a coach or a consultant, your focus should be on transforming lives, not struggling to get clients. That's where my company Amplify Media comes in to help you not just scale your business, but to consistently give you the revenue that your business deserves. We actually build a done-for-you lead generation acquisition system that brings in clients consistently so that you don't have to worry about where the next client is coming in. You focus on the most important thing that is scaling your business and impacting your own coaching clients. From high-impact marketing and scroll-stopping content to expert funnel creation, we take your business from point A to point B with precision. Coaches and consultants worldwide trust the company. We have over 277 plus clients, case studies all around the world, help tons and tons of businesses scale. So your next level is waiting. Let's make your brand unforgettable and visit the website today. I would love to offer you a free strategy session to share with you how we can help scale your business. Thank you.
So hello everyone, welcome back to the Empower Entrepreneur TV show. This is your host Rohit Soni, and let me get my guest on the stage, Jess here. So Jess, we've talked a little bit about grit. We have talked a bit about pressure that comes along with it. So if you could just share your lessons from racing and real pressure that came with it, like you often reference a race experience that shaped how you approach entrepreneurship. Can you share with us that story of yours?
Yeah, I mean, there's no shortage of stories of races I've done, but I'll share one. Most recently, I was in New Zealand doing a 6.5-day race with some of the best racers in the world. Was one of the top racers in America. There was a Canadian female that we raced with, and someone from Denmark. And we got together. We had some pre-race meetings, and because we had individually been successful, there was just an assumption by our captain that we would just show up on race day ready to collaborate and connect and work well together. And we spent a week before the race training in New Zealand, doing a lot of fine-tuning of our gear and all of that, but did not have any discussions about how we were going to show up or what our goals were that I typically do with other teams I've been on. What happened was the first day and a half of the race was pretty disastrous. There was a lot of miscommunication, a lot of conflict, because we went into that situation with different expectations and different goals. And what ended up happening was we had to stop, essentially, and just pause for about 15, 20 minutes to just have a conversation with everybody. And once we were able to stop and have that discussion, then we were able to navigate through the rest of the race more successfully. How that shows up in entrepreneurship is I have a business partner. We put on adventure races all around the country, and we have moments where we disagree, where we don't connect on things. And when expectations aren't set appropriately, when we don't have the discussions before the experience, how we navigate through those experiences absolutely impact the way we exit. And what I've learned is that I show up differently depending on the situation. And when I'm about to say something that I know is not going to result in the outcome that I want, I'm able to stop and pause and reflect on my values and how I want to show up in that moment. And that changes how I engage in a conversation with my business partner.
Absolutely. I agree with you, because it's like moments like these, we have to make sure we agree to disagree and do what's really true to ourselves, right? Now, in saying that, Jess, like, what did endurance and adventure racing teach you about resilience and mental toughness? Because these are competitive sport, and I've been a through and through MotoGP fan, right? Not just a fan. I love riding bikes on tracks. I've done some track days as well, and I love it. There's a thrill that comes along with it. But what's your take on, endurance and adventure, and how it teaches you resilience plus mental toughness? Because there are days where even if you're doing your best laps, you might crash, and that hurts your confidence in the exact same turn.
Yeah.
And you lose the feeling of the front every time. So you just, share with us how that how resilience technically helps you overcome it each and every time. But you have to, because you have to go into the same corner every other lap. So
Yeah, so that brings up a lot of great points. And what I'll say is, I think one of the biggest things I learned in endurance racing is that we show up differently depending on a lot of external factors, or even internal factors. How much sleep we have, how are we fed, are we rested, are we nourished internally? We are always so like you wake up in the morning, you had a great night's sleep, you had some coffee, you're functioning at 100%. As the day wears on, you have some stresses, you have some challenges, your battery drains. And so your capacity to show up at 100% is actually diminished. So maybe by the end of the day, you're only showing up at 60%. But in those moments, if you can show up at 60%, in those moments, you're actually showing up as 100% because that's your current capacity. So what I've learned is that our capacity changes based on a lot of factors. And again, it's going back to this acceptance piece. If we can accept the fact that maybe we're not functioning at 100% right now, that I just had a really challenging conversation with my kid, or someone cut me off on the way to work, and I'm stressed, and I'm entering into a meeting with some people, that I'm not going to show up as my best self, that I'm going to show up as a lesser version of myself, and maybe I need to do something before I enter into that room to resource myself, to charge my battery. It's like plugging your phone in to the wall. So a lot of things enter into the factor of how we're showing up, and our ability to be resilient is impacted by all those factors. And so being clear about that and being intentional about how you're resourcing yourself, so you're entering into situations or even navigating through challenging situations in a much more as a better version of yourself. And the last thing I'll just say about this is understanding that there are times that you're just not going to be great, that you're going to be at 30% because you're really drained. And maybe that's not the time to have the conversation with somebody, that you need to just be clear that, hey, I'm not really feeling great. Could we just put a pin in this and discuss this tomorrow?
absolutely. And I also think that the best in the world, they usually just go that extra mile. They just don't quit. They just have to keep going. And we usually say they're not humans, but they are too. They will also have thoughts of giving up. They'll also have thoughts of maybe I can't do it today. But I think it's just that's what separates the best from the rest, right? That they keep going, and no matter what, people mention this a lot, never giving up. Well, never giving up isn't just never giving up, it's just not giving up on yourself, on your dream, on there you are in what you do. So I love that. I love this part. In saying that, Jess, we have to run into another quick break. But when we come back, we'll discuss with Jess how his coaching is impacting people the same exact way in terms of what we are discussing. So we'll leave you off right now, but we'll see you after this quick one. Okay? I'll see everyone soon.
As a coach or a consultant, your focus should be on transforming lives, not struggling to get clients. That's where my company Amplify Media comes in to help you not just scale your business, but to consistently give you the revenue that your business deserves. We actually build a done-for-you lead generation acquisition system that brings in clients consistently, so that you don't have to worry about where the next client is coming in. You focus on the most important thing that is scaling your business and impacting your own coaching clients. From high impact marketing and scroll stopping content to expert funnel creation, we take your business from point A to point B with precision. Coaches and consultants worldwide trust the company. We have over 277 plus clients, case studies all around the world, help tons and tons of businesses scale. So your next level is waiting. Let's make your brand unforgettable and visit the website today. I would love to offer you a free strategy session to share with you how we can help scale your business. Thank you.
So hello everyone, welcome back to the Empower Entrepreneur TV show. This is your host Rohit, and today I have my guest Jess on with me, and we were discussing about resilience, mindset, how to not give up even when you feel like it. But in saying that, I want to discuss with Jeff how he is helping people around the world with his work. So Jeff, you can just share with us, and then also share with us how to connect with you and a bit more about your work.
So because of all the things I've learned in endurance racing and adventure racing in particular, I use that sport or that activity as the vehicle for teaching these mindfulness-based resilience skills. So even when I do workshops, a lot of times I'll send people or participants in groups of 3 or 4 to go find checkpoints in and around a space. I do these at colleges and universities, convention spaces, urban and park environments. And what they find is they go use a map to go find these different challenges, and each team challenge is tied into the overall learning objective. But what ends up happening invariably is people will get lost, people will get frustrated and upset with each other, and the same somatic experience of stress that we have at home or at work start arising. And what I do is I plant a couple seeds, I talk about a couple concepts, resiliency concepts, I teach a mindset reset technique and some other ways to help resource themselves and communicate better and regulate their emotions. And then they're able to go test out these skills in this artificially stressful environment. And then we come back and we debrief. Okay, what was successful? What worked well? What didn't work well? And then more importantly, this transference piece. How do you take the lessons that you learned from this experience back home? And what does it really look like in a minute detail? Think of some situations at home where you're currently struggling with your spouse or your kids. What are you struggling with at work or at school when I talk to students or the sports teams? Getting really granular about what situations or challenges they're facing and how these lessons can directly impact their lives. And then I lead them through some meditations and visualizations about experiencing or feeling what it would actually look like or be like to have a life that is changed or impacted positively by these techniques and challenges.
And if you can also share with us how to connect with you and, a little bit more about any specific coaching program they're currently helping people with.
So jessetubb.com is my speaking and workshop website. Grit Adventures, GRIT Adventures.com is my experiential or team building website. And those are the two main ways. I'm on LinkedIn. Luckily, Jesse Tubb is a very uncommon name, so it's built-in SEO. So if you just Google Jesse Tubb, you'll see me. And I do a lot of virtual workshops. Depending on where you are in the world, I've done virtual workshops for a lot of different companies in different countries, and also do some in-person training. That's really my bread and butter. That's what I love to do. Is the reason why I retired from the Army is so that I can travel and do this work more full time. And if I were to script the ideal environment is to do an in-person workshop, experiential workshop, and then follow it up with some virtual sessions. So we were building some scaffolding around people's lives so they can take the lessons and skills and techniques that we talk about in the workshop and have a sustainable integration of those concepts into their life.
Great. And before we run into another break right now, I just want to learn one more thing from your end, right? And let's talk a bit more about teams, right? Because teams is what changes things, right? A collective effort of people with the same mission and reason gets things done faster than anything, and they create a winning environment that, creates a better space and also impact people in a positive way. So what changes when teams learn how to respond to stress together effectively?
So the key word in that sentence that you just asked is together. And I actually do a team building lesson or framing about that word together. Because you can be in the same space as people, and I'm sure we've all experienced this, where you've been in the same room with 10 other people, but everybody's on their phones, so you don't feel connected with them. You've literally gathered. It's to gather, right? Is the word together. You've gathered together. You're in the same space, but you're actually not connected. You're not bonding with those people. And I'm sure everybody has an experience of working in a project together, and then one or two people do most of the work, and the other people kind of skate, and then the project gets done, but not everybody is collaborating. So there's no connection or bonding in those experiences. And another definition of together is having your stuff together, right? She has all her stuff together. She's really organized. Again, that's gathering information for a single person. But there's only one definition of together that actually builds community and connection, and that is where everybody feels empowered, everybody feels engaged, and everybody is showing up to their own capacity. So I talk really explicitly about this idea of letting people participate and engage in a way that is in alignment with their strengths and values, and makes them feel like they're actually contributing to the overall success. And because there could be one person on a team who feels like they can do all the jobs themselves, and they disempower their teammates by taking on all the responsibility and not delegating and not empowering. And so for me, that's the biggest key of resilience and teamwork, is making sure that everybody's showing up to their fullest capacity with the way that they value and in alignment with their strengths. And then everybody feels like they're engaged and everybody feels valued and empowered. And for me, that's the real key for resilient teamwork is that sense of a belonging, of real togetherness.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. The sense of belonging thing, because when people feel that they are part of, like I said, right, like a bigger mission, and they are together in that, things work out for them way better than anyone else. So I agree, right? A five group of people with the same mission and reason can beat any team because they know what they need to do, not just their individual stuff. So I completely agree with you on that part. Yep. And in saying that, we have to run into another quick break but when we come back, we have a very fun rapid fire with you. Okay. So I see everyone after this quick break.
As a coach or a consultant, your focus should be on transforming lives, not struggling to get clients. That's where my company Amplify Media comes in to help you not just scale your business, but to consistently give you the revenue that your business deserves. We actually build a done-for-you lead generation acquisition system that brings in clients consistently so that you don't have to worry about where the next client is coming in. You focus on the most important thing that is scaling your business and impacting your own coaching clients. From high-impact marketing and scroll-stopping content to expert funnel creation, we take your business from point A to point B with precision. Coaches and consultants worldwide trust the company. We have over 277 plus clients, case studies all around the world, help tons and tons of businesses scale. So your next level is waiting. Let's make your brand unforgettable and visit the website today. I would love to offer you a free strategy session to share with you how we can help scale your business. Thank you.
So hello everyone, welcome back to the Empower Entrepreneur TV show. This is your host Rohit, and I'll have my guest Jess as well on the stage. And we are in our last segment, but we want to make it the most fun for you. Okay, so Jess, I have a quick rapid fire for you. One misconception about resilience.
It's the idea of bouncing back. Because when we go through something, we don't bounce back to where we were. We're actually a different person. So we're bouncing forward. And this concept of returning to normal is not the way to look at it because we are a changed person. So it's bouncing forward, not bouncing back.
One habit that builds grit.
Intentionally putting yourself in situations that are outside your comfort zone. And so you're growing your capacity. It's like going to the gym. That's why I call myself a mental fitness instructor. And you find ways to challenge yourself like 10% outside your comfort zone. That's growing your capacity to be more resilient and gritty in all areas of your life.
I completely agree with it. I try to go every day and I don't miss out on it. And whenever I'm not missing out, I feel good about myself. If I miss out, I feel bad, but I want to make sure next day I want to double it down just so that I can feel good about myself again.
Perfect.
That's great. One sign someone is operating from grind instead of grit.
How they're showing up in moments of stress. We all know those people who are stressed and they have a grimness on their face. There's a friend of mine who does the same work I do, but when he shows up, he is full of stress and he's not engaging with people. So his emotion and his energy in those moments are different than someone who's having fun and recognizing that this moment sucks, but they're able to laugh about it. And they're able to show up in those moments with more authenticity.
Great. One way teams can improve communication under pressure.
It's going back to the idea of empowering everybody. So I think empathy is the biggest key. Understanding that everybody's going to have different comfort zones and growth zones, and allowing people to show up as their best selves. That's in most alignment with their authentic stuff.
One mindset shift entrepreneurs need today.
Navigating smarter and not pushing harder.
Okay. And last but not least, what does being an empowered entrepreneur mean to you?
It means having authorship or captainship of your own experience. So being in the captain's seat and being in control of how you navigate through the challenges in life.
Great. It has been a pleasure to have you on the show, and I'm pretty sure our audience has got massive value. And I'm pretty sure this Thursday when this show comes up at 8 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Pacific on E360 TV, Roku TV, people are going to get a massive value out of this, right? In saying that, do you have any last thing you want to share with us today before we go off here?
Be clear about your values. be clear about your imprint and how you're impacting those around you, and lean into those values as you are in your valleys of stuck.
Okay. Awesome, brother. It's been a pleasure just having you here on the show. And I think we have learned a lot. So in saying that, we'll see everyone next week. So thanks a lot, Jess, for your time. You have a great
Thanks
to watch this show.
Success isn't for the chosen few. It's for those who choose to show up, take action, and never back down. This is the Empower Entrepreneur, hosted by Rohit Soni, airing across 185 countries, 26 plus TV networks, and 100 plus podcast stations. You've heard the strategies, you've seen the mindset. Now it's time to execute. I'll see you next week, every Thursday at 5 p.m. Pacific and 8 p.m. Eastern. Go, build, dominate. Until next time, stay empowered.